Servus, g'day rockers and rollers. Here's Simon from Rough Guitars once again with another instalment of guitar goodness. Today's theme is strings. How to change them. Strings are pretty important on a guitar. I would actually go so far as to say without strings a guitar is pretty much useless, except as maybe a drum or a cutting board or maybe even a weapon if you're so inclined. But good string maintenance is important for your tone. How often to change strings, that's a personal thing. If they cost a bit of money, not much, but a bit. New strings give your guitar a much better, brighter and cleaner tone. If you wipe your guitar down every time after playing, you can actually make strings last quite a long time, maybe even as much as 3 or 4 months. You will find in the end that when your guitar starts to sound dull and a bit muddy, it's probably a good time to change your strings. Especially if you're a very sweaty person or a naturally grubby bastard who doesn't wash their hands very much, then of course your strings and your fretboard is going to get gunked up with sweat and dirt and nasty stuff. So take the opportunity, get your strings off, give the guitar a good clean down every time as well. Yeah, let's get into it. Without any further ado, this is how I change guitar strings. So here we have the tools that you're going to need to get this job done. First off, we have a support for the guitar neck that you can lay it down flat without damaging the guitar. We've got wire cutters there, long nose pliers and a string winder. And we've got cleaning material. Of course, you can give your guitar a clean every time you change the strings. And talking about strings, there they are there. So I've got 3 strings from an Ernie Ball set for an electric guitar, because my acoustic guitar playing, I don't know why, but every time I ruin the G string really quickly with the winding on it. It wears away with bending and sustaining notes and stuff like this. It gets so bad after a few weeks it gets down to bare wire, so that's the reason why I'm going to put a G, B and E string from an electric guitar on them. So the first thing you do is loosen off all your strings. Then grab your wire cutters and snip the strings over the sound hole works. And get rid of the things. So sometimes the bridge pins can be a little bit tricky to get out. Best is you just get the long nose pliers and carefully just give them a quick pull. Be careful not to damage the wood finish on the bridge. And butt end of the strings out of the holes there. And now it's time for cleaning. Of course, you should give your guitar a wipe down and a clean every time you change the strings. It's a good opportunity when the strings are off to get into all the dust collecting places. Use Zippo lighter fluid to get any gunk, finger grease and sweat and dirt and stuff like this that gets caked onto your fingerboard as you're playing. Zippo lighter fluid is pretty aggressive. It's a strong solvent, but it evaporates instantaneously. It doesn't soak into the wood. Some people argue against it, but I've never had a problem with this. It's very, very quick and easy to clean your fretboard with this stuff. And of course with a cloth, dry it down. Here I'm just having a look at the neck as the strings are off and see how it's looking. It's good, it's nice and straight with a little bit of relief at the 12th fret, just exactly how it should be. So next we're going to give it a wipe down on the headstock there. Get rid of all the dust. And also under the strings on the body, your pick guard and your bridge. So next we get the lemon oil out. This is the Dunlop 65. This is specially for musical instruments. It's not actually lemon oil, it's a mineral oil that smells lemony. I wouldn't use it for aftershave or anything like this, but for your fretboard it's extremely good. Give it heaps, put a lot on it, the wood will soak in what it needs and the rest you just wipe off. You can see here that in the glinting light you can see the different places where it's soaking into the wood more as other places. And then we wait for a few minutes, do what you want, tell your wife you love her, practice guitar, relax in the gentleman's way, whatever you want to do. After 5 or 6 minutes, wipe the excess oil off. I've had a bit of problems with the bottom E string on this guitar, that it's heaps louder than the rest of the strings. So I've taken the bridge off to have a look at the piezo pickup there, and did notice a bit of crud. Something was sitting on top of the piezo pickup underneath the bridge there at the bottom E string, so hopefully give this a good clean out and that will resolve that issue. And carefully stick the bridge back in again. So straighten up all your tuning pegs that the holes are facing up and down the neck. Then start with the bottom E string, tuck it in there, stick the bridge pin in with the notch in the right direction facing back up the guitar, give it a pull, make it tight. So this is the trick: thread through the hole, measure the string up to about the next tuner up. We're going to make a good kink in the string here. And you pull it back down against the tuner. The first wind should go over the top of the string, and then the rest of the winds under it. This gives an extra locking mechanism, an extra layer of mechanical strength to stop the string from slipping and hence detuning. So as the string tightens up, it tightens up on itself and locks it. That's how it should look like. You see one wind over the top of it and the other winds underneath it. Then the strings squeeze together and lock it in place. Not up to pitch here, just tune it so there's a bit of tension on it. And then the next string is going to be the top E string. I do this alternatively bottom then top, just to make sure there's no excessive stress on one side of the neck. It's not really necessary, but yeah, if you're going to do it properly. Same story, knot the string so there's one wind over the top of it and then the rest of the winds underneath. Trim the rest of your strings off. You're not Tom Morello. Here we go again from the other side. See, measure roughly one tuner up, kink in the string, pull it back down, first wind over the top, the other winds underneath. You see there how it's pulling together and knotting itself onto the string. On and on we go. Don't hammer the bridge pins in, just give them a push with your finger, it's enough. They hold in place with the tension on the strings. Sometimes a little bit fiddly with the unwound strings, but yeah, you get it. There we go. You'll always find there's more winds on the bottom strings than the top ones. This is naturally because of the thickness of the string, it'll go around further. But always measure more or less the same distance to the next tuner up. Now we're finished mounting the strings, we can tune them up to pitch. Always tune a little bit higher, stretch the string out a little bit, and then tune it back down. And there we see the nice clean winds and the knots on each tuner. Very good. So how does this sound now with 3 electric guitar strings of a lighter gauge on the bottom? Let's have a listen. Thanks for watching, guys. More videos coming up. Have a look at my YouTube channel for some of my original music, and like and subscribe if you want. Thanks a lot.